What's up guys, it is Chains Eats, and yes, I am back finally with another video. Be sure to stick around because I want to share with you my beef spare rib recipe. That succulent, tender beef rib infused in a mix of Asian spices. All that and more coming right up. Simple ingredients, so easy to make, yet packed full of flavor. Coming right up. Before we get into this video guys, make sure to click that subscribe button to subscribe to my channel and click that noti bell so that you can get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also guys, I hope you are all well and safe during this pandemic we are going through, COVID-19. Now it's obviously affected a lot of lives right across the world, so we all need to do our part by doing the social distancing. Alright guys, let's get on to this recipe, my beef spare ribs. So let's get on to making our marinade for our beef ribs. So right here I've just got some standard ingredients that you would typically use for any Chinese cuisine, like your soy sauce, your dark soy. So I'm going to add to my bowl just some white sugar. So in that goes. I've also got some 5 spice powder, just about a teaspoon of that, in that goes. I've got a bit of oyster sauce that I'm going to add into the mix. In that goes. I've also got our Hoinsin sauce. Now this is slightly sweet and it already has some 5 spice element to it already, but I've just added a little bit more 5 spice to my marinade to really get that taste of those Chinese spices. So in goes the Hoinsin sauce. All right. And I've also got the dark soy sauce that I'm adding in, just a tablespoon of that. Now, when you're using or you're actually making a marinade for any type of meat, especially when it's like a Chinese sort of marinade, they typically use ketchup with their marinade. But today I'm not going to be using any ketchup. I'm actually going to be using a sauce. It's a hickory brown sugar barbecue sauce that I picked up from my local store. So I'm actually going to add some of this sauce into my marinade rather than the ketchup. So we're just going to add our barbecue sauce in there. Now, because this is a hickory barbecue sauce, you're going to get that nice smokiness from that sauce. Also to our marinade, I'm going to be adding in just a little bit of white rice vinegar. Now this is going to just cut through that sweetness slightly, but it's also a lot subtle compared to your normal white vinegar. So I do recommend using the white rice vinegar for this recipe. So in that goes just like that. Now I've also got some chopped garlic as well as some ginger that I'm going to add in to our marinade as well. In goes our garlic and ginger, and now we want to just give our marinade mixture a good mix. So want to give this marinade a bit of a taste. Got that slight sweetness, and by adding that rice wine vinegar to the marinade, it cuts back that sweetness a little bit, and using that sweet Baby Ray's sauce to this marinade, it does give it that nice smokiness. So I've got our beef ribs that I'm now going to add to our marinade, and I've just picked up these beef ribs, nice meaty ribs, just from my local Chinese butcher. So in goes our ribs. And now we want to mix through that marinade really well, making sure that we coat all those ribs nice and evenly. Oh, the smell I'm getting off this marinade is really good. Our beef ribs are looking good, nicely coated with that marinade. Now we want to let that sit and marinate, preferably overnight. It will give that marinade a chance to really penetrate through that beef and soak up all those beautiful flavors from that marinade.
One eternity later.
All right guys, so these beef ribs have been marinating overnight. Oh, let me tell you, the smell from that marinade, all those spices all infused in that beef is looking pretty good. So now we want to put this into a nice oven tray, and we're going to whack these bad boys into the oven. All right, in goes our ribs. So I've got my oven here on fan bake at about 150 degrees Celsius. So you want to let our beef ribs cook away in the oven for about an hour and a half, and like I say, keep it on around about 150 degrees, just so that the marinade on our beef ribs don't burn too much. Now I reserved some of the marinade I made earlier for our beef ribs, so that I can baste our beef ribs while cooking in the oven. So these beef ribs right now have been in the oven for about 30 minutes. So I'm now giving the first basting of our ribs. I'll then pop these back into the oven for another 30 minutes, where I will do a second bake. Our ribs have been cooking for almost 2 hours now, and let me tell you, the smell in this kitchen of those ribs is absolutely delish. Now after an hour, I did crank up the heat till about 180 degrees and cooked those ribs for further 45-50 minutes. So in total, it's been in our oven for almost 2 hours now. Now those ribs are looking nice and dark. Oh, that beautiful marinade. All right, it's time to get in and try out these beef ribs. They are looking pretty delish. Now that meat just come right away from the bone. Oh, that is a perfect beef rib. Sweet, slightly sticky from that marinade, and that white rice vinegar just slightly cuts through that sweetness. Make sure to check out this recipe for yourselves, guys. I've listed all the ingredients in the description box down below, so go and check out those details. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome and thank you for clicking on to my video. And of course, to all my subscribers, thank you guys for subscribing to my channel and continually watching all my videos. I really do appreciate you guys' support. Make sure to be safe during COVID-19, and I'll see you guys in my next video right here on Chains Eats.